I'm Solana Rice. I'm the co-founder and co-executive director of Liberation in a Generation, a national movement support organization building the power of people of color to totally transform our economy. Who controls it, how it works, and more importantly, for whom? I'm excited to guest edit this edition of The Forge, an online journal on organizing strategy and practice by and for organizers, along with the co-directors of Black Visions, Candace Montgomery and Miski Noor. We'll be looking back at the uprisings last summer and the longer movement to defund and abolish the police and prison industrial complex. I'm here today with Simon Adams, who is a staff member of the Dream Defenders. For those of you who don't know, the Dream Defenders is a multiracial movement of young people organizing to build power in communities across Florida to advance a new vision of the state, one that divests from policing and imprisonment and invests in care. Simon and I met before the recent passage of HB 1 in Florida, a law that restricts the right to protest that was written in response to last summer's uprisings. Simon broke down for me what the law means for organizers in the state and how they fought its passage. This edition of The Forge is a collection of reflections on the past year, especially in the context of the uprisings. And I'm curious what the past year has been like for you and the people you organize with.
Yes, absolutely. So this past year has kind of been all over the place. I've worked on a plethora of progressive campaigns nationwide, as far as Missourians for Healthcare in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri. I've worked on the Warren campaign here locally, and just kind of let myself experience what the world of organizing was. These diverse campaigns kind of created a roller coaster, an everyday roller coaster. Especially being a manager in these capacities, day in and day out, I would need to ground these organizers in their intersectional perspectives and purpose. This really taught me to lean into what intersectional solidarity looked like. Although it was Black Lives Matter was on the front page of every newspaper, since 2016, all marginalized communities have been alienated by the Trump administration. It began with the Muslim ban affecting the AAPI community, children in cages separating Latinx families, and all of these other intersectional identities multiplied by the Pandora's box of the progressive values demonstrated on the Democratic primary debate stage. By election year, the passion and urgency was at a 10 out of 10, no matter what. I think just seeing all of those different ideas, like we had reparations discussed on the debate stage. We had what it really meant to have a free democracy, just a discussion on the Democratic debate stage. What it meant to have actually true open borders on the debate stage. And just a lot of domestic issues that brought light on different perspectives that are fairly progressive. And I think that just opening that door, opening that box is a place of no return around the American psyche. On the other hand, at the same time, we have social distancing with COVID. So everyone's staring at the same four walls and organizing through a digital lens. That's kind of what organizing is, like meeting people in person, like, you know what I'm saying, shaking people's hands, getting in people's faces, understanding like the purpose, you know what I'm saying, really breaking down the vulnerability of a person to be able to express how like their true intentions in working in this political atmosphere, and in that same lens, without that opportunity, it was like a point of, okay, let's reset, let's reanalyze, how can we still meet people where they're at? So this past year has definitely taught me that true community will always adapt under these pressures. It just takes patience and persistence, and continue reaching out, because if you ever reach out in a laissez-faire manner, it ends up getting returned with a laissez-faire hand. So I definitely think that just the persistence and strength within our communities to keep on pushing, especially in the organizing atmospheres, to keep on trying to get those people organized. Every single day you're hearing the same thing on the news, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you're telling your volunteers or your organizers to like different talking points around those ideas. You just became, it becomes your life inside of work and outside of work. And then social distancing, you become so alienated. So I think that a lot of that has to do with being able to just push through all of that and be like, okay, everybody's going through the same thing at the same time.
Can you tell us about HB1, what it is? Why is it important to know about it? What should folks know about what's happening in Florida?
Yes, absolutely. So HB1 makes is a bill, I guess, passed as the highest priority, being House Bill #1, Senate Bill 484 now. It is it will make protesting a second-degree felony, making it an aggravated rioting charge, which constitutes the protester to have no bail if arrested on site. It can kill, you are allowed to kill or do bodily harm to protesters in defense of property, which is basically an expansion of stand your ground. And that itself is literally putting profits over people, and however much that property is worth. I think I don't want to be wrong here, but I think it's around a five figure digit, and a young five-figure digit, and I just to evaluate a life at that same price point, at any price point, is completely unjust and completely agitates our Constitution here in America. So, and another thing that it does is allows the state to have control over all municipal police budgets. So, as you know, every community, according to their size, according to their culture, needs different policing, needs different type of law enforcement. You cannot have the same type of law enforcement here in Orlando as in the villages in Florida. It just will not work out. So especially seeing that the Florida state legislature is not likely to drop any police budgets in a municipality, that means it's all inflating. And that just means more police oversight and more dead black bodies. So we definitely can't stand for that.
I think a lot of advocates and activists are saying that this is in direct response to Black and Brown protests. What's your take on this piece of legislation?
Well, yeah. So the fact that the protests were kind of cut off by this curfew type of thing, you know what I'm saying? And then it was claimed to be a COVID curfew. That it was simultaneously, and there were arrests in the thousands, city by city, you know what I'm saying, within that first week of June 2nd. And that itself just proves that it was a direct reaction to the revolution that was being created on the state nationwide. So just that in itself proves that it's like a bounce back at Black and Brown communities trying to defend their livelihood and just being alive, period. But we got to take it at a glance and realize that there would have been no Boston Tea Party without protests. The only thing that this anti-protest bill does is eliminate the opportunity for future equity. We need two sides of this fight. You know what I'm saying? We need the slow process. We need to fight it through legislature. We need to fight it through lobbying. We need to fight it through communication within our White House and state capitals. But then simultaneously, we need to agitate the streets. We need to wake up the people. I think any anti-protest bill, as the fact that it's in our First Amendment rights for freedom of assembly, is an attack on Black and Brown communities.
I'm curious about what piece of advice would you give to others that might be finding similar fights in their neck of the woods? You mentioned that, we have to keep track of what is happening in terms of backlash at the state and local level. Do you have other things that you would advise for other organizers?
I've been talking to my brothers and sisters in North Carolina with Senate Bill 326, talking with my brothers and sisters with Senate Bill 202 when they were fighting that fight without being able to give out food and water to protesters while they're in line, which is a complete attack on us gaining power as people. We have these third-party nonprofit organizations jumping into community, going engaged with the community, saying, let's go vote, let's go do this thing, let's be engaged. We can throw a party while we're out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's make this voting thing engaging and fun. And it's a complete and utter shutdown of that love, that Black joy, that embodiment of what true community looks like in the perspective of getting civil engagement work done. So definitely just shout out them. This isn't only a Florida thing. If you're outside of Florida, you have a lot of ways to tap in. You can build projects and think tanks that inspire transformative justice from police and prisons. Just pay attention to your state attorney race. Keep them accountable. Bring attention and awareness to mass incarceration in your state and local community. It's very easy here in Florida. We are astounding in the amount of incarceration that we have here in the state of Florida. And we also are the home of Geo Group, which, if you don't know, look it up. I do not have the time today. But we have a lot of fights to make here in Florida and nationwide. So join a political organization whose values tend to be like in harmony with yours, and at the end of the day, protect Black lives within any community within any area of the country that you're in. The only thing to focus on is community, community, community. If you have nowhere to go, don't be alienated. If it's not there, create it. This is not a solo fight. I'm especially talking to my Black brothers and sisters out there, Black trans folks. Sometimes this feeling of like the world, it has all the revolutions like on your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? It feels like this is solely your duty to get us out of the troubling societal times. But we got to realize, like, Martin didn't march alone, you know. We gotta realize Chairman Fred had community within his Black Panther Party, and Malcolm X had so many different heads at the table. Even he got confused at times. You know what I'm saying? With there's different perspectives, ideologies. James Baldwin was the community kind of spokesperson. He was more of the, I'm gonna grab all these different perspectives, grab all these different ideas and shoot out something that the community will listen to. So he was a beautiful medium, and it takes a lot of pieces, y'all. And so we just have to lean into community. We can't think that this is all on us. And it's not all on us, because the world is out there, just as it is to harm us, to be me against the world's with us simultaneously. We just got to lean into that perspective a little stronger.
Thank you for listening. For more conversations like this one, visit forageorganizing.org. We'll see you on Twitter at Forage Organizing. For more information on Black Visions, visit blackvisionsmn.org or follow them on Twitter at blackvisionsmn. You can find more information on Liberation in a Generation at liberationinageneration.org or follow them on Twitter at liberationin. Thank you to Nino Fernandez for post-production audio and editing. And thanks to all of you for listening. Take care and stay safe, everyone.